Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something really potent. It's a framework used by Navy SEALs, but its roots, they go way back. Martial arts, yoga. We're talking about forging an unbeatable mind.
Right. And what's interesting is who this is for. It's not just people starting out. It really hits home for, successful individuals, high achievers.
Yeah, people who look like they have it all figured out.
Exactly. But inside, they feel stuck. Like they're not firing on all cylinders, maybe operating in low gear. They sense there's more, much more, but they haven't quite found the key to unlock it.
That feeling, yeah, knowing you've got untapped capacity despite everything you've already done, that can be really frustrating. And the source we're looking at makes a huge promise here, the 20x factor.
It does. It's a bold claim. The idea is you can potentially accelerate your daily achievements, your capacity, by 20 times what you currently believe is possible.
20 times, wow.
Yeah. So our mission today really is to unpack the core tools for mental control, for self-mastery, that the source argues can actually make that kind of leap possible.
Okay, so tactics, missions, that comes later. This framework says the real battle, the win, happens somewhere else first. Where's that?
It's all internal. It's right in your head. The source calls this the first premise. You win in your mind first.
Okay.
It's that warrior idea, secure the internal high ground before you even step onto the battlefield. And the main opponent, it's not out there. It's the internal chaos, that monkey mind, as it's often called.
Ah, the monkey mind.
Yeah.
I think most of us run into that the second we try to just sit still, right?
Absolutely.
I liked the story in the source about trying Zen meditation for the first time, feeling like it was a concentration camp because the internal noise was just overwhelming.
It's such a relatable experience, and it highlights a common mistake. We often approach mental training like physical training. Aggressive, goal-driven.
Trying to force silence.
Exactly. And you can't. Trying too hard just ramps up the chatter. The real insight is that consistent, gentle practice, just sitting, noticing the breath, noticing when the mind wanders off without judgment. That consistency, even when it feels like you're failing, that's what works over time.
So it's less about achieving perfect stillness right away and more about just building that muscle of awareness, which I guess brings us to the witness. That sounds important.
It's critical. The witness is, it's that part of you that just observes your thoughts. It's separate from the thoughts themselves. We spend our lives identifying with the thoughts, I am my job, I am my worries, I am my screw-ups. But the witness, it just watches all that stuff scroll by.
Okay.
And the space that opens up between the thought and the watcher, your witness self, that's where the magic happens, as the source puts it. That gap gives you room to develop concentration, confidence, even creativity. You start choosing which thoughts get your energy.
Okay, so we build this foundation of awareness, of witnessing. Then we need practical tools, especially for when things get stressful. Let's talk techniques. The source mentions the big four of mental toughness.
That's right. The big four are sort of the pillars for high-pressure situations: arousal control, attention control, visualization, and goal setting.
Let's dive into arousal control first. The SEALs apparently rely heavily on something called box breathing.
Yes, box breathing. It's incredibly powerful for regulation. It gets its name from the rhythm, the sort of square pattern at 1-1-1-1 ratio.
Meaning?
Meaning you inhale for a set count, let's say 5 seconds. Then you retain the breath, hold it for the same count.
Okay, 5 seconds.
Then you exhale slowly, again for 5 seconds. And finally, you suspend the breath, hold the emptiness at the bottom for another 5 seconds before you inhale again.
Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. All equal counts.
Precisely, a perfect square.
So what's happening there? Why is that better than just taking a few deep breaths?
Well, physiologically, you're doing something quite profound. You're consciously taking control of your autonomic nervous system. You're slowing your heart rate down, bringing rhythm where there might be internal chaos or panic.
Right.
It calms that internal agitation, settles the body, which then allows your thinking brain, your prefrontal cortex, to stay online. You can stay focused even when everything around you is screaming panic.
The source has that intense story about the SEAL diver. The mini submission.
Oh, yeah, the SDV mission. Incredible example. He's hours into a dive. His mask ruptures. Suddenly he's blind, freezing, disoriented. Backup's gone. Total crisis.
Nightmare scenario.
Absolutely. But instead of letting panic take over, what does he do? Immediately starts box breathing. Uses intense concentration.
So the physical disaster, the mask, the cold, it became almost secondary. Like a mental problem to solve.
Exactly that. He took the body's panic response out of the equation, turned what could have been 3 hours of pure misery and terror into, believe it or not, a state of internal peace, just through breath and focus.
That's incredible. And you're saying that same technique maybe less traumatically, works for everyday stress, like deadlines, tough meetings.
Absolutely. Stress is stress to the nervous system.
Mm.
That same tool gives anyone that control, that ability to stay centered when things heat up.
Okay, that sets us up nicely for the second tool, attention control.
Hmm.
The source uses that great metaphor, starving the fear wolf, feeding the courage wolf. How does that work in the moment?
It's designed to be fast, like mental first aid. It's a 4-step process. Step 1, witness. Just notice the negative thought or feeling the second it pops up. Don't fight it, just see it.
Okay, acknowledge it.
Step 2, interdict. You actively stop it. Cut it off with a power statement. Something short, sharp. Not now, I got this, or, yeah, feed the courage wolf.
Slamming the door on it. But you can't just leave a void, right? The mind doesn't like empty space.
Exactly. So step 3 is immediate. Redirect. You instantly pivot your attention to positive self-talk, positive imagery related to what you want to achieve. Focus on the successful outcome, not the fear.
Got it. Fill the space.
And finally, step 4, maintain. Keep that positive state going with something simple, like a little mental jingle or a mantra. The source mentions things like looking good, feeling good, something rhythmic and easy.
Yeah.
Done quickly, consistently, this whole 4-step sequence becomes almost automatic. You're essentially reprogramming your instant reaction from fear to focused courage.
Okay, powerful tools. But tools need a purpose, right? Control just for control's sake doesn't seem like the point. Where does direction come in?
That's where the framework shifts to defining your why. You need the 3 Ps. Before you figure out what to do, you have to dig into who you are.
Right, that examined life idea.
Exactly. It's fundamental. So the 3 Ps guide that self-examination.
What are they?
First is passion. What truly lights you up? What makes you feel like, as the source says, your hair is on fire?
That can be hard to pin down.
It can. A practical way to approach it is that classic question. If you won the lottery tomorrow, huge money, what would you actually do differently with your time and energy?
Okay, that helps. What's second?
Second P is principles. What core values do you stand for? Integrity, service, courage, whatever they are for you. How do you actively live them, make them part of your character, not just words?
Right. And the third?
Third is purpose. This is the big one. Who are you, really, and what are you uniquely here to contribute? What's your mission?
And these 3 Ps, once you have some clarity on them, they lead somewhere specific.
They funnel into your one thing, your single major driving initiative for, say, the next 6 months to 2 years. It has to be deeply connected to your purpose. It gives you that laser focus, stops you chasing every shiny new thing.
And how do you uncover all this?
Yeah.
Passion, principles, purpose, they don't just appear.
No, it takes work. The source suggests practices like insight meditation, contemplation, like reflecting deeply on wisdom texts or nature, and definitely journaling. Writing things down is key.
It all seems to circle back to this idea of choice. The source calls recognizing the power of choice the first secret to mental toughness.
It really is the foundation. We tend to think about the big life choices, career, marriage, moving.
Yeah, the dramatic moments.
Right. But this framework argues that true success, true self-mastery isn't defined by those few big moments. It's defined by the thousands of tiny decisions we make every single day.
Yeah.
Like choosing to do the box breathing when you feel stressed instead of snapping, choosing to read that chapter instead of scrolling, choosing to stick to your workout. Mastering those small choices, that's where you really take control of your life's direction.
Shifting focus from the big, rare decisions to the constant small ones, that feels more manageable, actually, more empowering.
Exactly.
Okay, let's broaden the view again. We have the tools, the purpose. Now, how does this integrate? The source talks about the path of the warrior leader and warns against developing in just one area, like only focusing on physical strength or intellect.
Yeah, that leads to imbalance, stagnation. The framework uses the metaphor of the 5 mountains of self-mastery. We all know the physical mountain, fitness, health, but it emphasizes the other 4, the non-physical ones. There's the mental mountain, that's control, focus, but also creativity. Then the emotional mountain, understanding, harnessing emotions, building resilience.
Yeah.
The intuition mountain, developing that gut feeling, that 6th sense, the sheepdog instinct to protect.
Okay. And the last one, Kokoro.
Kokoro mountain. It's a Japanese concept, essentially meaning merging heart and mind into spirit, into action. It's about spiritual development, finding that deep inner drive, that non-quitting spirit. It's where everything integrates.
Heart and mind together.
Yes.
Synthesis.
Precisely. And to bring this integrated self out into the world effectively, especially as a leader, you need a way to navigate complexity. That's where the three-sphere awareness model comes in. I, we, and it.
Like we, it. Let's break that down.
Okay. The I is your inner world. Your self-awareness, your thoughts, feelings, internal state, your level of control.
Right, the individual.
The we is the interpersonal sphere. Your relationships, team dynamics, the culture you're a part of, communication.
The group.
And it is the objective external world. The systems, the tasks, the organizational structures, the environment, the tangible results.
Okay, I, we, it, and the goal.
The goal is to be aware of and win in all three spheres simultaneously. You can't just focus on one. True success requires alignment across all three.
The source uses that story from Kuala Lumpur, the dark alley incident.
Yes, that's a perfect high-stakes example of winning the three fights.
Wow, so?
Well, the I fight, he won that by staying calm, using his breathing, managing his fear, feeding courage, not panic.
Internal control.
The altercation fight, that's the weight interaction. He projected confidence, used unexpected action, confused the potential attackers, made them back down without violence.
He de-escalated the immediate threat.
And crucially, the system fight, the broader is. By avoiding a physical fight and getting arrested, he avoided the Malaysian legal system jail, a much bigger problem. He won on all three levels through integrated awareness and action.
That makes sense in a life or death situation. But what about, say, a manager whose project is failing? How does iWitted help there?
It applies just as much, maybe even more clearly. The I fight is managing your own stress, your fear of failure, your frustration. Are you breathing? Are you staying objective?
No, self-management.
The it fight is the obvious one. Fixing the project's problems. The broken process, the budget, the technology issues, the missed deadlines. That's the task.
Right, the tangible stuff.
But the we fight, that's often the hardest and most overlooked, it's addressing the team issues. Is there low morale, poor communication, lack of trust, conflict?
The people part.
Exactly. You have to win all three. If you just fix the process, but you're freaking out internally, and the team is dysfunctional, guess what? The project or the next one is likely to fail again. It's about holistic solutions. It ties into another secret. Fail forward fast. Learn the lessons across I, we, and it, and adjust.
Okay, so wrapping this part up. This unbeatable mind approach, it really starts with finding that inner quiet, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Then defining your purpose, the 3 Ps, and using these core tools like box breathing and the 4-step attention control process to stay on track.
Absolutely. And it's an ongoing journey, this integrated development across those 5 mountains we talked about. It's not a one-and-done thing, which leads to thinking about, well, where are we on that journey? The source talks about 5 plateaus of consciousness. How do those fit in?
Right, the plateaus seem to describe our current center of gravity, our developmental stage. The source suggests most of us, especially in the successful Western world, operate from plateau 3, the mental achiever self.
Makes sense. Highly rational, goal-oriented, driven by logic and success. Mastering the physical and mental mountains often happens here.
But that's not the end point, is it?
Not according to this framework. The aspiration is plateau 5, the integrated self. This is where development across all 5 mountains really comes together. It's a fundamental shift in identity.
What does that shift feel like? What does it look like in practice?
It's described as moving beyond just personal achievement or tribal thinking. Your perspective becomes more world-centric, driven by service. Heart, mind, spirit are genuinely integrated. There's a sense of expressing truth, wisdom, love, more, universally. Because you've done the work to consciously transcend and include the earlier stages.
Moving from just my success to contributing to something larger.
Exactly. Maximizing positive impact, not just personal gain.
Okay, so let's leave our listeners with this thought then. The challenge isn't just about achieving more or being tougher. It's maybe about identifying which plateau feels like your home base right now. Are you primarily that mental achiever, optimizing plateau 3? Or are you consciously doing the work, the breathing, the witnessing, the purpose finding to integrate further, to edge towards that 5th plateau, where your strength serves something beyond yourself? What tiny choice, what micro decision are you making today to climb that mountain?